Ooh, welcome back to Action Jack-0ffs, the show where we talk about the very best and favorite action movies of all time. This month, we're talking about John Wick, probably arguably the most influential action movie of the last 11 years. Probably.
Probably.
Probably, man. I
Probably done
mean,
the best. The most spin-offs, the most sequels.
the most uh, inspirations for other movies that came out. Something I want to talk about.
As it is only inspired by every action movie that ever came out before it.
True, yeah. I mean, it definitely goes into a lot of tropes of its own, but kind of
Which
invents
is
some
what I
new
want to
ones.
talk about.
Yeah, let's go. Let's go ahead and get into it.
Today we're talking about John Wick.
John Wick.
Baba Yaga. The boogeyman? No. He's the one you sent to kill the boogeyman.
Yep, that guy, Keanu Reeves himself, who I think at this point doing this show, we've done Keanu Reeves in we've done pretty much all his major action movie roles except The Matrix.
The only one I don't care about.
The one I'm like I could probably do or die without it. Like I really don't care. Um, the Matrix is like a
They're all
dime.
right.
The Matrix is a dime a dozen. You know, we'll find another movie like The Matrix. I mean, that's probably not fair to say to The Matrix, but it
The
is.
first
It
one's good,
the
but
first
I just
one's
don't care
decent.
about it enough.
No, now we've done Point Break. We've done Speed.
That's a movie.
We've
Now that's a movie.
and now we've done John Wick. We're doing John Wick today, and when I kind of look at that, and I'll include The Matrix in this. This is like his Mount Rushmore, right, of movies. Uh, in terms of action movies, I mean, you could argue he's been in other stuff that's like equally as popular that has him in it. I don't know. Bill and Ted comes to mind for some reason.
It's pretty big.
Yeah, it was a big pop.
Big.
It was a big pop
Dude.
culture thing in its time. It's kind of faded from the zeitgeist
Bad
nowadays.
sequels.
Yes, but I also acknowledge that that was huge too at the time. But yes, I think of Speed, Point Break, Matrix, John Wick, and the fact that the first two kind of come out in the '90s when he was like a big deal. He was doing other stuff, and then he goes on to do The Matrix, and that was '99, if I'm not mistaken.
Pretty sure, yeah.
And that was like those were like his big three he did in the '90s was just those movies, and then
Devil's Advocate, but that wasn't an action movie.
yeah. Just talking specifically about action movies,
Mhm.
and then you fast forward, you know, close to 15 years later, then you get into John Wick, and you're like, man, there's kind of a this resurgence of his career. Like he never really faded away from the
He was just doing
spotlight.
a lot of bad movies.
He was just doing a lot of bad movies. I mean, you could argue he was doing some cult classics like Constantine. Um,
Like I said, bad movies.
sure, buddy. And we kind of get into like those or whatever. But then he kind of has this resurgence going into John Wick, and then he just proceeds to milk that cow for another three movies afterwards. You know, three sequels. And yeah, man, he kills it. He had like this. He had this crazy, just like pop culture phenomenon going on for a while where Keanu Reeves was everywhere for a while. Everybody was talking about Keanu Reeves, and it was all because of John Wick.
And he even did another Matrix movie at that time.
He did. He did another Matrix movie around the time he was finishing the John Wick series, which is
And then he's even in The Ballerina, the John Wick spinoff.
yeah, I haven't seen it.
It's not very good, but he's in at least 30 minutes of it.
Okay. Yeah, that's only on Peacock, right?
I forget. I went and saw it, but it wasn't very good.
Oh, it's a movie.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They did a show called Continental.
I was thinking about the Continental, which I think is on Peacock.
I don't think he's in that.
No, but I have heard. I do remember hearing about Ballerina, but I didn't see it. I know it's supposed to be good, or not supposed to be good. I know it's
Yes, it's
it.
not very good. It's kind of
I gotcha. I gotcha. Yeah, yeah. There you go. Nice joke. Nice play on right there. That was good. Um, but yeah, just reeling it back, and obviously there's a whole legacy of movies, spin-offs that we can kind of like get into. But I just thought, let's bring it back down. Let's go back to the original John Wick. Let's kind of like narrow things down, bring things back to a simpler time when there wasn't this global scale, you know, international assassins wide fiasco going on that culminates in the death of countless characters and all this, that, and the other. Let's just bring it back to simple John Wick, the beginning. And I wanted to start with when was the first time you ever saw John Wick?
me and my friend Ryan went to the theaters on a random Tuesday and saw John Wick in a completely empty theater at like 1 o'clock, and we thought it was the greatest movie ever.
That sounds exactly like something a teenage Lincoln would go on to do and say, because I was also
I,
teenage Garrett and I thought the exact same thing.
it was just perfect because we thought it was going to be complete schlock, and we were like, no, this is still a B movie, but this is like the best B movie I've ever seen.
Which is funny you say that, because if you actually go and you look at the stats behind this movie, it didn't really do that well at the box office.
No, it wasn't. It did really well on demand and streaming, and then the sequels did awesome.
Yes, and then the sequels were the ones making the big money. But John Wick, the first movie, I think was made on a $20 million budget and only made $40 million.
Yeah. And the only reason they had Keanu is because he was in such a slump that they got him for cheap.
Exactly. Um, and that's where like the resurgence, I talked about earlier, kind of came into play, and this really worked out for just about everybody in this movie. And where I was when I first saw this movie was I also went out with a bunch of friends. We were with a bunch of friends and my friend's dad, who had to take us because we were, I don't know how old we were in 2014. We were obviously not old enough to go see a rated R movie by ourselves. Um, so he took us, and then we saw it. Man, we were we were also in a theater that didn't have a lot of people in it, but we were just like hyped the whole time watching this movie. That was like one of my favorite movie theater experiences, just going to see John Wick. And I don't know, I don't remember what made us go see John Wick. I don't know if it was like one of the posters of him holding a
The
whip.
trailer was good, but you
Yeah,
kind of could tell that it was going to be goofy. But I didn't realize how like well shot and well coordinated and choreographed everything was going to be.
right. Like you said, like it kind of everything about it gave off this air of being a B movie. Like I specifically remember one of the posters of this movie, um, where there's like John Wick has a wick on him and he's doing something with the wick. But
I don't
like
even remember that.
but like at no point in the movie does he ever do anything with a wick. You know what I'm
I,
saying?
I heard you hit my son. Yeah, he was messing with my wicks.
My wicks. But
My
yeah,
John Wick.
I'm trying to find it. I'll try to find it and put it on screen if I can. But if I can't, just know that I'm not entirely crazy. I found it. I immediately found it. No, I'm gonna put it on screen later. But yeah, I just thought that was so cool. And then we were like, yeah, let's go see that movie.
Sounds awesome, dude.
Sounds awesome. He's got wicks. He must be like a bomb expert or something. And then that just did not pan out at all.
Never. He touches a sledgehammer more than he touches wicks in this movie.
Exactly. But anyway, um, what was your first impression of the movie after you initially saw it, and like you kind of got over the whole, oh, it's not really a B movie per se?
I just always thought it was awesome. I don't really care about the sequels at all.
Really?
They're all like I like them all, but it feels like we're just doing the same thing a few times over.
Right.
Uh,
Yeah.
it's not like I'm dismissive or anything. I just, if I've watched the first one a bunch and I've watched the other ones a few times.
Okay. Yeah, I've seen all of them. Number three was probably my least favorite.
Yeah, three kind of is the one where you're just like, this really is just the same exact
It
shots again. Like we
it's
do the club scene again.
it's just the formula by then just was so drawn out. Um,
Uh-huh.
like you have, oh, John Wick walks into a room and then takes out like 15 guys, and then walks into the next room and then takes out 20 guys, and then dials it back into the next room where he takes out 10 guys, but they have like
And then he has to
machetes.
fight one guy one on one for 15 minutes.
And then there's like a small car chase or something somewhere in the
Yeah,
mix, and at a certain point you're just like, it's basically just cannon fodder. You know,
exactly.
he's
And you
just
don't even care,
you don't
which is why
care.
I like which is why I like this one because there's really only like 8 characters
Yes, there's only like eight major characters you really have to keep track of. It's I could probably
and
count them.
every
It's John Wick, Ian McShane's character, the concierge, Willem Dafoe, the female assassin. I can't remember her
Pyro
name.
from Friday Night Lights,
Yeah, um,
Adrian Palicki or something,
Vigo, the
and Theon.
the the mayhem guy.
Oh yeah, the Allstate Mayhem guy.
Yeah, you
He's
know,
also an American Gods.
he's also in Law and Order Special Victims Unit,
That's
which
really funny. I always forget that he's in SVU.
yeah, that's a great role he's got. I mean, it's like that was his role before all his other
What
roles.
an what an interest not a great career, but a very interesting career.
Fascinating career that guy has. I have to pay respects to him right now.
Because he's legitimately in 2 seasons of American Gods, like a whole bunch of SVU. Those
Dean
commercials have to be awesome.
Dean Winters, that's his name. Very fascinating career that guy has. Anyway, um, yeah, my first impression of John Wick the movie was I wasn't really I was invested into the movie. My first impression was here's just this guy. We don't know anything about him. He gets this dog, and my first impression then was what my current impression was when I rewatched it. Is that this kind of just comes off as like this sad drama about a guy whose wife just died, and he's trying to find some kind of way to grieve, and then there's this whiplash type transition, 20 30 minutes 20 minutes in where 15 20 minutes in where it just rapidly transitions to now it's an action movie, now it's like a revenge plot action movie, and that always like struck me as like this thing that's just like wow, that's crazy because typically those like scenes in action movies where they talk about how you know Big Dick, the main character, is, and they're like, oh man, he's a killer, or oh man, we need this guy. It's I always think about that scene in like Commando where Arnold Schwarzenegger is kind of like hanging out with his daughter in the mountainside, and everything is smooth, and it's a decent life that he's got going for himself. But then somebody shows up at his house and is like, hey, we want to recruit you for this job because you're super awesome and cool, and then he turns it down, and then it's not until somebody attacks his home do you see how badass he is and like cool he is. In John Wick they do things a little bit different where you don't learn any of those cool things about him until after the plot is put in motion. Like you think he's just a regular guy who's just got like a regular life. He had a wife who died of cancer, and now he's got a dog. He just got robbed, put down. That's one of the beautiful things about that sequence where he gets robbed and beat up is that he gets taken by surprise, and so he gets put down and beat up, and you have no way of understanding how cool this guy is. And then it's not until Vigo is explaining it later do you kind of shift and it changes, and now you're looking at a guy who is, oh, I saw this guy kill 3 people with a pencil one time, and you're just like, oh my god, what is going on here? And then John Wick is simultaneously digging up his past, figuratively and literally, and that impression has always stuck with me every time I watch the movie.
I love it.
Love it. Love to see it.
This was two things. One, completely agree. I always love a movie where the A and the B plot could be their own movies that you would watch by themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Like just the movie about Keanu Reeves having a wife that just passed and he's grieving and trying to figure stuff out with this dog. I'd watch that movie.
Yeah.
Completely, would completely enjoy that movie. Wouldn't care. Then there's the movie where Keanu Reeves is on a revenge mission. Love it. Would watch that movie. That is what John Wick's about.
Yeah.
But I also wanted to say that this is probably the formative movie year, 15 I was, where I probably saw the most movies. Like
Really?
as much as I really really started watching movies and having opinions about stuff, because I'm just going through what 2014, and I saw like half of these movies. I saw Fury, As Above So Below,
Mm-hmm.
Noah, The Imitation Game, Nonstop with Liam Neeson, Nightcrawler,
Mm-hmm.
Creep,
Oh
Gone
wow.
Girl, The Giver, Ex Machina, Maze Runner, Whiplash, Interstellar. Like this is probably the move. Need for Speed with Aaron Paul,
Yeah.
Dracula Untold.
Oh yeah. That was my
like I
shit.
did, I did watch like almost all of these. John Wick. Like this 2013, 14, 15 is probably where I like really started going to the movie theaters, really started like being like, man, I think I like movies more than other people's like movies. Like most of my friends don't talk about movies or see them as much as I do.
Right. And
And John
and
Wick up
and
there.
then that's kind of not necessarily like that's evolved over time. Now you go to the movies pretty much all the time.
If there's movies coming out that I want to see, I go see them.
Yeah. Simple as that.
It used to be just a thing we would do over the weekend. We'd be like, oh, what's out? And then we'd see movies like, 2 or 3 times. Or I would at least.
Yeah.
Sometimes I still do.
Yeah. So
John Wick is one of those.
did you expect to be in the movies? We already covered that. You didn't think the movie was going to be as good as it was, right? Like,
No, we thought this was a 5 o'clocker.
yeah.
Thought like because Nonstop came out this year, and that was kind of during like the Taken rip-off craze,
Yeah.
which is kind of how this started because it was supposed to be somebody older, and that's why nobody like knows who John or like the guy didn't know who John Wick was whenever he was robbing and ripping him off. It was
Yeah.
supposed to be like an older man.
Because Keanu Reeves was probably in his, I want to say he was in his late 40s when he did this.
No, I don't think it was supposed to be even older, the person, because I think it was supposed to be like a Liam Neeson vehicle or something.
Okay, so Keanu Reeves is actually 61 now, so he was 50 when he first did
Holy
John
shit,
Wick.
that's even older than I thought he was.
So he was probably
He
around
looks
the right
so
age.
good.
He does.
He
he's
looks so good.
he looks so good for somebody that's supposed to be in his 60s.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I know. And so he did. So yeah, this movie was 11 years ago, so he would have been exactly 50 when he first did this movie.
I'm thinking I'm back.
Oh man, and apparently Keanu Reeves and his longtime girlfriend Alexandra Grant secretly got married in Europe this summer.
Hilarious.
Thank you, Google.
Thanks, Google AI. You're not ruining our lives.
Excuse me.
Bless you.
Oh, did you hear that?
I did not.
Okay.
I just assumed.
Yeah. What did you think of Keanu Reeves as John Wick in the first film?
The first half, really awesome acting, and then he just slucks his way through the film, but so is everybody else, and that's why it's beautiful.
See, I always thought
The gun training is really, really, really impressive, but the
yes,
actual dialogue and stuff is, I'm
dog
thinking
shit.
I'm back.
It's dog shit. Let's just call it for what it is. It's bad.
It's incredible.
Uh,
All the acting at the beginning, if you don't know it's about to be John Wick, you're like, that's all right,
Yeah.
It's legible. There's nothing that I could like point out and be like, the way that he touches the dog, I just don't believe it.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that's great. But once we start, other than like the real gun training and gun fu and all that, like that's beautiful. That's a
Yeah.
work of art.
Yeah.
Don't open your crooked teeth at me like that when you're speaking.
Ooh, Keanu.
Yeah, it's cannons.
Yeah,
The
no,
can.
it's no,
I am an FBI agent.
oh my god, here we go. I agree. I agree with you. I will say I've never been a big fan of Keanu Reeves acting, except for his early stuff.
I
Which
love him in every movie he's in,
oh,
but
same.
man, he's a wet plank of wood.
Yeah, and I think The Matrix is the biggest example of his bad acting. But
But everybody's weird in that movie. That's like
yes,
the one that you can give him a pass on
but
because everybody's being weird.
but in
The same
John
with this.
Wick, in
Same with
John
this because nobody's throwing it heavy.
yeah,
Everybody's just kind of giving it up.
well in John Wick, I always felt like when he's silent, he's doing something good. But in every movie, when he has dialogue, it's just not very good. It's I don't know if it's the dialogue itself or it's just his delivery of it. I think it's his
I think
delivery of it that kind of kills the vibe for me because he'll like you said, like you already referenced the I'm thinking I'm back scene where he's tied to a chair and he's about to get killed and I always think to myself like, dude, that is such a bad I I think that's both things. I think that's bad dialogue and that's bad acting.
do you
Like
know who's really good in this movie?
Willem Dafoe.
No,
Who?
Leguizamo.
Oh yeah.
I think he should be in this movie for like 30 more minutes.
He goes, "Oh, you did
I
it?
think
You
he's
killed his dog? Oh,
incredible.
that's hilarious. Oh yeah, funny.
That's hilarious. Did you hit my son? Yeah, I hit your son. He killed John Wick.
He,
Or he
he
killed John Wick's dog and stole his car.
stole his car, killed his dog." He goes, "Oh." That's like one of the
Oh,
that
it's incredible.
that's one of the best exchanges in the movie. That's probably the best exchange in the movie because that alone tells you everything you need to know about John Wick without the massive, massive dump that Vigo gets into later on his son.
But it's just so good. That scene, and then the scene where he is doing the info dump on his son, but John Wick is just hammering the garage floor. Those two scenes are why this movie is incredible.
Yeah, and of
Because
course
the even
the choreography.
the the exposition scenes are like my favorite scenes, which isn't usually how it works in movies. Most of the time the exposition scenes are just there to help along the way, whatever. But I really think that the exposition scenes in this movie are the movie.
Yeah.
John
Um.
Wick.
So
Oh,
so do you think John Wick felt different from other action movies at the time or other action movies you had seen?
when it came out, yes, but now it's all muddled.
I think that's because since it came out, there have been other John Wick clones.
Exactly. And then, five John Wick movies slash shows.
Because what's interesting is with the way the landscape kind of evolved and changed, you had like a bunch of big movies come out that are really John Wick clones. Like I always think about like movies that came out around the same time that kind of created their own series, like the Equalizer series
Uh-huh.
with Denzel Washington. That kind of like went on to become like its own series of John Wick clones. I feel that way anyway. Um, you've got an older guy who the blueprint is the template is you've got an older guy who doesn't do bad shit anymore, but he was a real badass in his day. Comes out of retirement ever so often to just kick ass and take names, and then kind of quietly goes back into the night. But I'd say the difference between that is that in the John Wick series, once John Wick comes back, he never stops until his eventual
Yeah.
death. But
Yeah, it really all starts with Liam Neeson and Taken, but they had been doing these movies for forever. Like
yeah,
there's a
I would
bunch
say
of
yeah, I would say Liam Neeson
there's like
had
a
his
Gary
own.
there's a damn it, who's that scary he's in Point Break. Who's the scary guy who's like, give me two, Utah.
Oh, I don't know. It's been a minute since we saw that one.
Ah, you son of a bitch, you're making me look this up. Hold on. Break point
We've got
break.
we've got to get
Not the
there.
20, not the
What
2015 one.
we'll
Get
get
that
there
one out of here.
eventually.
Gary Busey.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, Gary
That son of a
Busey.
bitch.
But I mean, I totally understand what you're saying. Like Liam Neeson had with Taken had it was so early on. It had like its own. Um, it went on to have its own series. It went on to have its own clones. And then John Wick, I think, came along and kind of rearranged the game yet again. It had its clones, but I think it had more of an impact because of how big it eventually became. Like Taken was big, and it went on to have like I think it's funny because I feel like Taken is the only film series that went on to have clones that all starred the same actor.
Yeah, which is what I was also coming to say is that like Unstoppable or Nonstop came out the same year, and we also saw that for the same reason, and we're also like, man, I'm glad that they're still making these.
Yeah, and then you had Sisu was another one that came
Like,
out.
but they had also been doing this before because this is why I was bringing up Gary Busey earlier.
Okay,
There's a movie called Eye of the Tiger from 1986
okay,
starring Gary Busey, where Gary Busey is a former convict trying to live a peaceful life and his wife and daughter with his wife and daughter in a hometown. When it becomes clear that a vicious motorcycle gang led by a sadistic Blade, William Smith, now rules the area, Buck must fight back to defend his family or anything that it just gets more ridiculous. But it's like the exact same premise where like he used to be a badass and now he's trying to be normal, but somebody takes his wife and daughter, and he's got to fight back. Like they've been doing this for forever. It's just like the modern take on it, and then the advent of better technology and because Gary Busey's been old forever.
yes,
He was old in the 80s.
yes. Um, so then the biggest clone that comes to mind whenever I think of this is the writer for John Wick would actually go on to write the movie Nobody.
Ah, and they just did the second one of that.
Yes. So they did that. Yeah, they just dropped the second one of that. I don't think it did very well at the box office, if I'm not mistaken. Um, but as compared to the original Nobody, which, as far as I understand, actually did do really well at the box office. But that being said, Nobody, in my mind, is directly inspired by John Wick, if not for just the fact that it's written by the same guy. And I just found that I just think that's interesting. It's just really interesting to me. Is kind of like the impact John Wick had on movies as a whole at Hollywood for a while there. Because then you also got like there's so many other ones I could probably name off, but I don't want to spend the whole time here just talking about movies other than John Wick. But that's just John Wick has that impact on Hollywood. So let's see here. So let's see here. I'm trying to think like what's a good question to move on to the next thing. Um, what did you think of the villain?
Vic, or the dad or the son?
I count Vigo as like the villain of the movie. I
The
wouldn't.
villain, yeah. I was
I
gonna
wouldn't
say
say.
Vigo's the
I wouldn't say Yosef is. He is the inciting incident. he is not the antagonist, because the antagonist is really Vigo, because of the fact that Vigo doesn't want John Wick to kill his son, and so is going and goes through all these different lengths to keep him from doing so. That I think ultimately he ends up being the villain, especially because he's the final fight of the movie. He's the final kill of the movie. It just makes the most sense.
He's all right. He's got a few good scenes.
Yeah, he's got a few good ones. I mean, he's memorable insofar as he's the actor really does a good job. He's kind of over the top. He's goofy. He's funny. He's the type of snake that would sell out his own son if it meant saving his skin. Um,
He didn't really care after his son did get killed.
no, I think it was just.
It wasn't the biggest deal ever.
I think it was the principle more than anything. Like
Oh yeah.
he couldn't just let John Wick kill a son.
Yeah, because how would that make it look to everybody else?
Exactly. Everybody would be like, "You just let John Wick kill your son. What is that going to do for me?" You know, or how does that affect what you would or how you would treat me? Uh, which I just think is really funny. Um, and then of course you have, speaking on Yosef, Alfie Allen is typecast in like everything he's in, where he just plays a deplorable piece of shit.
I've never seen him be a good guy, except for the very last scene of Game of Thrones before he dies.
where he
Spoiler.
where he gets like a redemption arc. Yeah, I've heard about
Like
it.
it's literally like 2 words. They're just like, "You're a good man," and then he dies.
Yeah, tragic.
And he didn't even really do anything good.
No, but in this movie, I really like how when John Wick goes to kill Yosef, Yosef's last words are basically him saying it was just a stupid fucking dog, and
Which
John
is
Wick
crazy.
just kills him before he even finishes the sentence.
It's
Uh,
not even a dog. It's not even a stupid dog. It's the perfect dog. It's a beagle. I
it,
also don't watch the scene where the dog dies. I always fast forward a little
do
bit.
you really?
Yeah,
It's messed up because they straight up just like punch the dog and kill it.
yeah. They just kind of like stomp on it or whatever. But I wouldn't know. I skip it. It makes
Yeah.
me uncomfortable. I
Well,
love
hey,
beagles too.
you do what you got to do, man.
Fucked up. It just immediately makes you be like, all right, well, we got to kill these guys for the rest of the movie. They asked for it.
Yeah, I mean that's funny. That's so funny about that is because like when the dog scene happens, that's when everybody in the audience turns tail as well, and they're like, "All right, time to come out of retirement and kill some guys."
Yeah, we're ready now.
Yeah, that's why we're immediately on board with John Wick's character. Um, like not only are we sympathizing with him because of what he went through with his wife, we also sympathize with him because of what happened to his dog. But not only is it just the fact that it's his dog that just died, he only knew the dog for like a day. That's not what's important. The
It's the
dog,
symbolism.
it's the fact that the dog came from his wife as a means to help him move on and have some hope of being able to love in the future.
And he took it away from him.
And
He
you
made it
took
so
that
he
from
needed
me.
it. You killed that from me!
That's so stupid. Such a dumb
Murdered
line.
it from me!
Um, were there any side characters that stood out to you?
I really liked Tyra from Friday Night Lights, whose name is like Adrian Palicki. Let's look it up just to make sure, Gotta be gotta be a good boy.
Yeah.
John Wick cast.
Adrienne Palecki.
Adriana, that's what it is. Palicki. Yeah, she's really, really awesome. I really like her a lot from Friday Night Lights. She's also in Legion and G.I. Joe, all kinds of silly stuff, Supernatural. Uh, love her a lot. I really like that she calls him a pussy because like everybody throughout the whole movie is like, "Oh my god, he's the boogeyman killer. Oh, he killed people with pencils." And she's like, "You were always such a pussy, John."
Yeah,
That's so awesome.
that was pretty cool. How she's just like, and she's like beating the shit out of him too. Like she's actually putting up a good fight.
She's just like, "Yeah, I always knew it." Always knew the stories were bullshit.
Nero's pussy. So good. I really liked Willem Dafoe's character.
He's just great in everything. That's why it's hard to just give it to him every time.
Yeah, it's kind of like the obligatory Oscar that kind of just goes out and you're just like, all right, buddy, here you go.
Yeah.
Uh, every time, fuckface, what's his name, goes on screen and does a movie. Oh, Daniel Day Lewis. You're just like, here you go. Here, take the fucking Oscar.
You don't even like There Will Be Blood, do you?
I like There Will Be Blood. It's fine.
You don't like Lincoln?
It's kind of boring.
I mean, yeah, but he looks like fucking Lincoln, dude.
Oh, that's why he deserves an Oscar. Okay.
He was making log cabins and winning wrestling matches and making hats and stuff.
Good for him. He's not
He's
John.
being Lincoln.
He's not John Wick. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I mean, I'm just saying, dude, it'd be so funny if they made like, just like, hey, Daniel, you want to do a
you want to do a John Wick
action
style
movie?
movie?
And he's just like, do I actually get to kill the people?
Well, I.
Will I get to drink their milkshake?
I slurp it up. That'd be.
I slurp it up. They're like, Daniel, hold on. We're talking basic acting here. And he goes, but what if I put real bullets in the gun? What if I shoot them? What if I drink their blood?
Well, then you'd be Alec Baldwin. So.
Will there be blood? Well, that's really funny. I didn't even catch it at first.
That's funny.
That's funny.
I also enjoy Ian McShane's character as
Another American Gods alum.
yes, as Winston Scott in the movie. He was really good. R.I.P. to Lance Reddick. He was really cool in the movies up until he passed away in real life, and then I think he was cut from John Wick 4, I believe. I can't remember if he dies in 3 or if he just got written out of the story. I don't remember.
I remember.
Anyway, the point is, I like Ian McShane's character as kind of like the owner of the Continental. It kind of leads into the conversation of I like that throughout the movie we get more and more lore that just kind of builds and builds on this world of assassins. And I like that in the first movie it's very toned down. Like you don't know how far spread or how widespread it is until you get to the sequels and you realize it's a global phenomenon. So I really enjoy the fact that it's very kind of more down to earth. There's more mystery to it. I think that's what I like about the first movie is that when it comes to the world building and the lore, there's more questions to be had that you don't question it in the moment, but the questions are there and that intrigues the viewer more as opposed to where in the later movies you just know everything. You know so much about how everything works or how deep everything goes. Whereas in the first movie, you don't get any of that. You don't understand, how did John Wick become John Wick? You don't understand how are the police involved in all this? Like, how can all this stuff be going on, but the police not, get involved in some way? Like that happening, and starts right after the first action scene in the movie. After he kills that whole house full of black ops people, the police show up at his door, and instead of worrying about it, he's just like, "What's up, John?" The police officer's like, "What's up, John?" He's
Working
like,
again?
"Working again?" He's just like, uh, just working out some stuff,
Just
and
figuring some stuff out.
figuring some stuff out. And that's just like, okay, he just got away with that. How does this work? And I like that element of mystery to it, I think is what I'm trying to say here.
I love it. Do you know what the question I always had was?
What?
How come everything cost one gold coin?
Yeah, what's the what's the parameters
What's the
here?
currency? How does it work?
I guess one
How
gold
does
coin equals one action.
I guess, but how come cleaning up a bunch of dead bodies and checking into a hotel room are the same?
Are they though? I don't remember that.
Well, it gives everything is just one gold coin.
I thought he gave the guy that cleaned up bodies a few gold coins. I can't remember.
I feel like maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like maybe it's just for simplicity, but I feel like he just gives everybody one.
Yeah, probably. Getting into some of the action stuff now. I feel like the most famous fight scene of the movie is the nightclub scene. Aside from aside from where he's in his house and he first does has his first action scene, but the nightclub scene always comes up in conversation. What did you think of the
It's
nightclub
definitely
fight scene?
it's definitely the nightclub scene is the best scene in all of the series.
In the series?
The whole series, it's probably the best set piece. I really love when he shoots the guy in the foot because they're both like behind two different walls.
Yeah.
Like he shoots him in the foot, so then the guy like leans over and then he shoots him. I just love the double tapping. I love when the reel just
Yeah.
like I just love it all.
Yeah. It plays really, really well. You know, the guy that directed this movie is actually John Wick's not John Wick, Keanu Reeves' stunt double
This guy's
for
actually John Wick.
yeah. The director is actually John Wick. You wouldn't believe it if
That's
you saw
crazy.
him. No, the director of this movie is actually Keanu Reeves' stunt double from The Matrix. So
It's
it's just,
all coming together.
so it makes sense why all the action and choreography is really good. It's because it's being overall directed by a guy who started out his career as a stuntman.
Love to see it.
Love it. You'll love to see it, man. I agree. The nightclub fight scene is really cool. I like I like it. I always forget how it starts in the sauna area and then works its way up into the nightclub. And then there's like so much going on. It's such a overstimulating process.
What a loser.
Oh, fuck me, right?
This John Wick scene is too overstimulating.
How did the movie's action choreography compare to other films you've seen?
It's pretty good. Uh, it's not my favorite style, but at the time I was like, man, I haven't really seen anything like this. And I didn't really watch like a lot of kung fu or martial arts movies. But I was very much like, oh, it's cool to see Keanu kind of doing the Matrix thing again. But like it was also its own thing at the same time.
Yeah,
But I enjoyed it. I like it a lot. It was fun to see it again when I rewatched it this last time. It had been a while.
yeah. No, I agree. Yeah, it definitely caught me off guard, like how well it implemented different types of martial arts. Um, Jiu-jitsu specifically being something that kind of like came to my mind. Because keep in mind, I'm an MMA fan now. I'm kind of a casual MMA fan, so I kind of watch and understand different martial arts styles now. But back in 2014, when I first saw this movie in theaters, I had no real concept for what jujitsu was, so I never really like saw it in action until this movie came around. And then I saw it play out the way it did, and I was just like, "Wow, that's really cool." Because you never really see grappling in action movies.
Other than Lethal Weapon, I can't really think of another one.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's especially like a lot of the classic ones because usually it's always just like kung fu, karate, martial arts type stuff, or some kind of just balls to the wall grunt work. Like I always think of John McClane. You're either a John McClane in a Die Hard movie, where all you're doing is just kind of like throwing yourself at somebody, trying to punch them and throw things at them, or you're a Bruce Lee in another movie where you're just a super badass kung fu master doing all this crazy shit, Jackie Channing around. But in John Wick, there's kind of this amalgamation of the two styles where it's this super technical guy but has more technicality to him. It's looking at John Wick's action as like this evolution of the action genre. starting with the choreography. And in so many facets, you look at the things that this movie is inspired by from an action movie perspective, and you look at the ways it improves upon those things. And it's such a unique movie in doing so. Like, John Wick will go down as one of the greatest action movies of the 21st century, for sure. It's just really cool. It's just crazy to me.
It has to.
It has to. Um, so just random stupid shit. What would you have done if you were Vigo and learned your son messed with John Wick? What are you doing in that situation?
You just leave them.
You kiss him goodbye. You
Yeah,
give him a
you
hug.
just you put him in a safe house and go. I'm not going to tell him where you are, and you tell him where he is.
You double cross him. That's funny.
He did something bad.
He did something. He. These are the consequences of his actions, man. I'm telling you, it is what it is. So that means, so I guess if you were Aurelio, John Leguizamo's character, would you also have punched Yosef?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, give him a good fucking licking, crack him
Oh
across
yeah.
the jaw.
And then I would apologize to John Wick that I didn't kill him, or at least maim him a little bit harder.
Okay, here's a really interesting question, and this one I think I already know the answer to, but I'm gonna ask anyway. If the first movie had never gotten a sequel, would it still hold up?
Oh, it would be even better.
Wouldn't it?
It would be an even better movie if we never got all the answers and we were just like, man, why didn't they ever make a second one?
Yeah, we'd always be thinking to ourselves like, because think about it, like had it not blown up on home media, we never would have gotten a sequel.
Never.
And I think the only reason it made as much as the box office as it did is through word of mouth. Like
For
people
sure.
going and seeing it and then being like, "Holy shit, you guys got to go see John Wick." I don't know what else came out the same time as John Wick. I don't know if the theaters were just dead and nobody was going to the movies that weekend or what. But everybody went to the theater. Some people saw John Wick and then they immediately were like, "Guys, you got to see John Wick." It's kind of like when people saw the menu for the first time and they were like, "You guys got to see the fucking
The menu sucks.
menu." I had a feeling you'd say that. I like it, but I had a feeling you'd say that.
As somebody who worked in restaurants forever and somebody who loves horror movies, not interested.
Not
Not even.
is it just because of that, or do you think it's just like genuinely not
No,
a good movie?
it was just bad. It just wasn't like I watched a lot of movies. I've worked in a lot of places, or I've worked in a restaurant for a long time. It
Yeah,
wasn't that good.
that's funny. Anyway, but yeah. Anyway,
It was
would you
it's just
recommend
not
John
John
Wick?
Wick.
Would you recommend John Wick to someone who doesn't normally like action movies?
Oh yeah. If it'd be like the classic argument of somebody being like, I've never watched an action movie I liked, show me like one of the good ones. And it'd be like, well, it's gonna be John Wick, Total Recall, Terminator 2.
Well, here's the thing. I would actually argue the opposite. I feel like if you're someone that
Yeah.
I feel like if you're someone that doesn't like action movies, you're not gonna like John Wick,
See, I think the hard turn is what's gonna get them.
where the dog dies.
Yeah, because I think if you're just like, yeah, it's an action movie, and then you're just like, they're just like, oh, this is kind of just sad. Why are we watching this? And then the home invasion happens, and then they're just gonna be like, ah, well, it happens to everybody when they watch it. Like, so we're gonna kill everybody that was involved and their
Yeah,
families, right?
like we're locked
And
in now.
yeah,
No, I understand that.
I feel like that's the same reaction that everybody has once this movie starts.
I just think that if you're the type of person who doesn't like if you get squeamish or you just don't like seeing people get shot or beat up and you just don't really care for monotonous violence, you're not gonna like this movie. Because like
Like
it, because like you
they're just
said, you
cowards.
have to be you have to be at least somewhat emotionally invested in John Wick's journey through the movie to really give a shit. And if you're not, if you just don't give a shit about the action, I don't see how your emotional investment is going to carry you through the movie. Even though I think that's one of the strengths of the movie that it can do that. I feel like for a lot of people that don't, first of all, I don't know that many people that don't like action movies, but for those that don't, it's just not gonna make a difference. I don't think.
I think you're a coward.
Okay. Let's see here. Uh, Hypothetical question. Uh,
No,
if John Wick fought Jason Bourne, who would win?
I mean it's Batman, dude.
What?
I just thought it'd be funny to throw that out there. I feel like it would be John Wick, right?
That's a fun question. Because it really depends on like if neither one of them knows that the other one is coming, and they just randomly butt heads and beat each other, and they have to fight.
Is Mark is which is Matt Damon, is it older Matt Damon or is it first movie versus first movie?
Um, to make it fair, let's make it end of series versus end of series.
Ah, so they're both just old as shit.
Yes, they're both old as
Uh,
shit,
I
but
don't
they're
know.
both really
Maybe
experienced.
maybe it is Matt Damon just because by the end of John Wick, he's so battered.
Oh, you mean end of series John Wick? You mean dead John Wick? then
No,
yeah,
I mean,
then yeah, Jason
like
Bourne wins.
that's funny. No, I just mean like, let's say beginning of each last movie, you pussy.
Yes. No, yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Like,
John Wick
I-
is like always limping and stuff. Like he gets away with it, but he also like there's always the one guy that he gets into a fight with that takes him 15, 20 minutes of the movie.
well, think about it like this. Let's think about it like this.
Let's think about it like this, actually.
In John,
But
let's,
in general,
fuck
sorry, I
off.
was trying to do isms.
In John Wick, how many times does John Wick have to be saved by somebody else? In just the first movie
At
alone,
least a few.
at least a few. Willem Dafoe bails him out a couple times. More actually, I think twice, if I'm not mistaken. He bails him out from getting surely killed. And in later movies, think about it like this: John Wick has to wear like this fictional bulletproof suit that's like stab proof, somewhat bulletproof. And that's like when it gets to that point, my suspension of disbelief is kind of out the door, like whatever, right? But
You're telling me the guy from How I Met Your Mother didn't have a bulletproof suit? He had a suit for every day of the week,
yeah,
every
well,
holiday.
yeah, well, I imagine he would. I imagine Patrick Harris would, but John Wick has to have
John Wick.
gear like that in order to get through a fight.
It's too much. Jason
J-
Bourne would never.
Jason Bourne didn't need shit like that.
Jason Bourne didn't even know who he was.
Jason Bourne was literally bred by the CIA to be a killer of all killers. And you're gonna tell me that John Wick, who's raised in a ballerina studio,
That's so funny.
is gonna beat him? I don't know, man. That's kind of up in the air.
It just actually, well, it depends. Did Jason Bourne kill his dog?
Ooh, ooh, that's a good one. Did Jason Bourne accidentally run over John Wick's new dog? And is John Wick out for
I'm
blood?
thinking right back.
Okay, okay. I don't know. Yeah, yeah. I don't know. I'll leave that one up to the fans. But I think that's pretty much it. Final thoughts on John Wick?
Just incredible. I just revere the first one so much. Such a good, such a good fun movie. So sad, so good. It's maybe 20 minutes too long, but who the fuck cares?
What would you
More
cut?
killing, more John Wicking.
What are you cutting?
I don't know. I just feel like we could tighten up some stuff. It just like it feels like it's one of those things like where he kills the son and then he has to kill he has to kill Vigo and the Allstate guy.
Yeah.
Like it starts feeling like a video game halfway through.
Yeah, I guess. I think right after the night. I think right up to and right after the nightclub scene is when it gets like that.
Yeah, exactly. Where it just starts to slow down a little bit. But all in all, love it. Would watch it 100 times,
We'll
like
probably
I
watch it
have.
100 times. Yeah, that's probably how I feel too. I love this movie. I enjoy all the movies to an extent, and I'm really looking forward to anything Keanu Reeves does in the future. Um, if a John Wick property comes out for me to watch, I'll probably watch it. Oh, The Protege. That's another clone of this movie that I just thought I'd
It
bring up
is.
real
It
quick.
really is.
Yeah, with Samuel L. Jackson and that one girl. Um, Polar. That's another one with Mad Mikkelsen. Anyway, good movie. Good John Wick movie. Love it. And that's gonna be it from us. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'll try to get this up next day on YouTube,
Well,
and we'll see what happens.
peace.